Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm Johanna and welcome to my cozy book space. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my October wrap-up. I read, I think, 9 books, couple DNFs in there, but let's get right into it. First book that I ended up reading in the second half of October was Grimstone by Sophie Lark. I ended up giving this book 4.5 stars. I can't remember the hero or the heroine's name. I meant to write that down, but it's fine. This is about our heroine is going to her uncle's house because her uncle passed away and the uncle left the house to her and her brother. She's a very handy heroine. She likes to renovate things. She's really good with fixing things and all of that stuff. She's really close with her brother because their parents passed away and she's always had to take care of him. And so they're in this small town called Grimstone, and right off the bat I will say that the writing was phenomenal. The spooky vibes, the atmospheric tones of the book were just spot on for exactly what I had been wanting in the month of October. Then we have our hero who is basically the recluse of this small town. He has this condition that doesn't let him be out during the day or in like really harsh sunlight. There are rumors going around the town about him and saying that he killed his wife and his son, and they just all kind of have this preconceived notion about him, his past relationship with his deceased wife, and nobody really wants to get to know him, and he just lets them believe whatever they want to believe. And so our hero and our heroine first cross paths because our heroine is on her way back to her uncle's house, but to get to her uncle's house she has to go on this road that is actually owned by the hero, and you have to get like this agreement by the owner of the land to use this road, otherwise you're trespassing even though your house is on their land. It's weird. You learn something new every day, right? In every book that you read. It goes on from there. I will say that this book is very like insta lust. In my opinion, I will say that it's not insta love. The first time that our hero sees our heroine, he's immediately attracted to her, but he's also mean to her and like puts her in this box because of the way that she looks. She has like pink hair, she has tattoos, piercings, all of that. And I love Sophie Lark's books because she has illustrations. So if you ever read one of her books, I definitely recommend to either read it on your phone or an iPad or whatever you have that would allow you to see these art prints in color. You can't see them on your Kindle, but obviously the Kindle doesn't have any color. But yeah, they were just gorgeous artworks, and I loved having visual representations of what the hero and the heroine are supposed to look like. This was nothing that I had ever kind of read, really. It was very like, was it mystery or was it thriller? I think it was like more like thrillery. I'm not sure what you would categorize this as, but it is also a romance, like a dark romance. And I just had the most fun reading this, and I could have never guessed the plot twist. Like when the plot twist happened, I was shook. Maybe it was like something you would see a mile away, but for me, I was just shook and flabbergasted, and just like so many creepy and spooky scenes in the book. Like sometimes I found myself like double checking my surroundings because I was getting a little spooked. And if an author can do that with the writing, she's got me hooked. I thought it was amazingly done. And I what can I say, you guys? I love a tortured hero. Our hero is very tortured and damaged, and he's really just a recluse, and he doesn't think that he deserves anything good in his life. And he was just so unique, you know? And I did love our heroine for him, and I love our heroine in general. She obviously does have trauma that she further unravels in the book as well. And just overall, I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. And I do read this book in a reading vlog. Check out that video. The next book that I ended up reading was Bewitching the Boss by Jessica Kane. I had seen a video by Rachel from Rachel Reason Sings, and she was recommending her like top Jessica Kane novellas. This was one of them, and it was a Halloween themed, but there's not a lot of like Halloween in the book. I was really intrigued. I do love me some Jessica Kane, so I ended up picking it up. I gave this one 4 stars. So this one we have our hero and our heroine. So our hero is an owner of this company. He's, you know, a billionaire hero, right? I think so. I mean, he owns this company. He's very smart. He's very techie. He's basically a nerd. And he hires our heroine because our heroine is a party planner. He hires her to plan this Halloween party for his employees, so his employees always can like let go and have fun. I loved this so much because we start this off in our heroine's point of view. Instantly, you know that she is obsessed with our hero. She knows about our hero because their pasts interconnect. So she knows about the hero, but the hero doesn't know about the heroine. And our heroine is basically a stalker. She has been stalking our hero for a while now, and she has literally put into play how she would like integrate herself in his life. And I just love to see it. Like, we love a stalker romance, but like we never get to see it from like the heroine's point of view, or I haven't read that many like heroine stalker point of view romance books. This is not at all what I was expecting, and I just loved it so much because she was so obsessed with him. But when we were in the hero's perspective, he is also like slowly becoming obsessed with her and getting like these stalker tendencies, and he just wants to love her. And like in true Jessica fashion, it is smutty, good old time. I loved it so much. It was so good. Next up, I ended up reading The King by Jenica Snow. I believe I gave this one 4 stars as well. I really loved it. This one is actually a novella, a part of Jenica Snow's werewolf slash a couple vampire series. I can't remember what the series is called, but I did read that entire like Jenica Snow werewolf series except for this novella. And I feel like I knew about this novella and I told myself that I would eventually read it, but then I just kind of forgot. And then I just saw it recently, or I just started thinking about Jenica Snow, and it just all led me to find this book again. And basically this book is about how the king of the werewolves found his mate, his fated mate, which was the sister or daughter of the vampire king. I know her brother eventually becomes king, or was he already king in the novella? I can't remember, but she's basically a vampire, and it's just them finding out their fated mates and trying to figure out how their life is gonna work. And it's a smutty, good old time, and I love me a werewolf times a vampire novella, and it was just everything that I needed, you know, paranormal for the spooky season. After that, I ended up picking up In Peace Lies Havoc by Amo Jones, but I sadly ended up DNFing this. I do try to read this in that same reading vlog, but yeah, I ended up DNFing it. Honestly, you guys, I was just confused. I was confused and I didn't care enough to keep on reading. I want to say that I soft DNF'd it, but will I truly go back and retry? I don't think so. Then I ended up picking up Dare or Death by K.L. Mann. I ended up getting this rec from Ava's romance books. Ava from Ava's romance books, I believe. And she has amazing novella recs, and she was doing like a spooky novella recs, and this was one that sounded interesting to me, but I did end up DNFing it just because I didn't care enough to finish it. So I'm pretty sure I made it quite a bit through, and it is a novella. So yeah, this is basically about our heroine. She is at this party that this girl at her college, I think this is a college romance, isn't it? I think so. They went to this party that this girl did, and she's like a mean girl. She is like, why am I here? But like, now I'm glad that I'm here. And she's always had this like banter with one of the popular guys, or so we're meant to believe. And then they're basically trying to summon a demon in this game, like, which dares you to do something, and if you don't do it, then you're like dead, like you die. Our heroine decides to stay and her friend decides to leave. Yeah, so basically it's a smutty good old time romance between that popular boy and the demon and our heroine. So apparently the demon and the popular guy from the college are husband and husband, and they add the heroine to this menage, to this relationship. Yeah, yeah, it was a book. So moving on, after that, I ended up picking up Sweet Vengeance by Viano Onyomo. Honestly, I'm totally butchering that, and I'm so sorry. I tried. I gave this one 4 stars. I really loved it. This one was actually also a recommendation from Ava, and this one I loved. Okay, so we have our heroine. She is actually sexually assaulted by one of her co-workers, and she ends up summoning a demon, which is our hero, to exact her revenge. She wants to basically kill her rapist. So definitely check trigger warnings. Their relationship stems off off of something tragic that had happened to the heroine. And so yeah, she summons the demon and she offers him her body, but he's like, no, I will just take your blood. He is very intrigued by her, and he is, I believe, like an empath, and he like feeds off of her emotions. He loves how she just has this like need to kill, and like how much she thrives on making her rapist like go crazy mentally before like she kills him. And it was just so good and so smutty, and I loved how the relationship progressed. And we just have really two isolated, lonely people coming together and like kind of healing each other. It is a novella length, but I think it was so very well rounded, and I believed in them and that they were soulmates. And I love me a demon with some wings and some horns, and he's like this deep, rich purple color, and he is just such a needy, clingy hero. Like, he loves to love our heroine, and he like worships her. And this is a black heroine, and she is like curvy and just absolutely beautiful, and she like the way she dresses I love, and the way she carries herself I love, and it was just so good. It was just so good, you guys. And it was perfect for October because it was like paranormal, but it was also like on the darker side as well, but it was also smutty, and I really enjoyed this author's writing. But yeah, I just truly love this one. I gave it 4 stars. After that one, I ended up picking up Where Violets Bloom by Daisy Jane. I gave this one 3.5 stars, but I think I rounded it up to a 4-star. This one is about a stalker hero, and we have a heroine that has been growing up in an abusive household, physically, verbally, mentally, all of the things. And she is I believe, a high school teacher, or it might be middle school, I'm not sure, but she's basically a teacher. We have a cop hero. He is also a cop. He's a stalker and a cop. So he has this thing that he likes to do. So he, I believe, tragically lost his parents. So he developed this, I believe, coping mechanism where he will go out in the middle of the night and he will pick people and he will pretend to rob them, so that those people that he robbed realize how good they have it in life and not to take any moment for granted. So he likes to do this, right? And he is a cop, so it's very sus. So he's actually out one night and he is looking for his next target, and he accidentally bumps shoulders with our heroine. Our heroine's father is like dragging her away from this like drive-in movie theater. She like turns around, apologizes, and he like instantly attaches to her. He sees her green eyes and he like falls into them immediately. He proceeds to stalk her for a year. During this time, obviously the heroine doesn't know that she's being stalked, and she's just going through it at home. Okay, when I say that she is a damsel in distress, she is the very definition of a damsel in distress. And not to put you off, but like at some points, obviously I was like, please, like, speak up, say something, like stand up for yourself. But I think because of the way that the hero was, it just kind of worked. I did believe that they were soulmates, but like obviously a damsel in distress is not my favorite heroine, but I also, it was fine. You know, like I kept going, I finished it. This is a very, very long book. This is like 430 pages, but I pushed through. I will say I do think it was a lot longer than it should have been. Even then, like I still enjoyed the read. Like I really enjoyed it. The smutty times were amazing. The hero is over the top, possessive, obsessive, protective hero. Definitely alpha male. But there were some things that I truly didn't love about it. For example, there are some scenes here where I think the hero very much abuses his cop privileges in different circumstances in the book. Put into real life, it's like absolutely not okay. Like it did rub me the wrong way, and I think I just mostly skipped those scenes. But definitely trigger warnings for that, because he does do that. And then with the whole heroine being a damsel in distress, I didn't really like that. And then it was also a lot longer than it should have been. But overall, I liked the relationship. I did pick this up. It was very random pickup for me because I believe it was Jen from the Book Refuge. She recommended one of the books in this series, but I can't just start a series in the middle of the series, if that makes sense. So I ended up just picking up the first book in that series before moving on. I will say that I do like the author's writing. This is the first book that I've ever read by her. So I will honestly continue in the series because I believe the next one is a femme-dom relationship, and it's between the hero that we meet in the first book that has like an eye patch. He like lost his eye in a fight. So I'm just very intrigued, like, and the smutty scenes were really good. So whenever I'm feeling down for it, I will continue the series, but it wasn't anything like amazing, you know what I mean? But it was a fun, crazy, smutty time. Anyways, moving on, I ended up picking up Love, Laugh, and Lich by Kate Pryor. This was a series that I had started, but I had read the second book in this series without knowing that it was a series. So I went back and read the first book in this series because it was also a very like spooky one. This is about a hero that's a lich. So I gave this one 3 stars. I did think that it was pretty average. It was fun for what it was, but there wasn't anything like amazing about it. We basically have our heroine who was the assistant to the lich. The hero basically needs multiple sacrifices or like little potions. For example, if they're like in the middle of a ritual and the heroine shivers, he can bottle that up, like that essence of that shiver, like it's magic. So he needs multiple things of this because he had had a prior time where a sacrifice was sent to his office and the sacrifice tried to kill him. So he's trying to find out why they're trying to kill him. He's scared to bring in like any more sacrifices, and the assistant ends up offering herself up for it. And she's like slowly always been attracted to him, but she's never known like what he looks like, because he looks like what he looks like in the cover, but like when he takes his cloak off, he's described very differently, which I will say I had a hard time picturing him in my head. But the smutty times were really good. There was a little bit of a miscommunication trope, but I think that it wrapped up quite nicely, and it is a novella, so yeah, pretty average. It was good for what it was. I gave it 3 stars. Then the last book that I ended up reading was Lady Venom Takes a Mistress by Kat Blackthorne. I'm pretty sure I got this rec from Ava as well. She's over here with the good recs. I gave this one 4 stars. I really loved it. This is an FF Beauty and the Beast / Medusa retelling. I love this. I need to read more FF, to be honest. Like, I really do. Like, what am I on? Like, why haven't I read more, you know? So we basically have our heroine. She has been groomed since she's been growing up to basically be in this like auction where men in the town go and choose a bride. And her mother has been trying to get rid of her for the longest time, but every single year since she's been eligible for this auction, she has done something that has caused her not to get picked. But this time around, there's this man and he ends up picking her anyways. He likes to break girls. Yeah, real nasty, real On the wedding day, she ends up stealing his horse and running into the woods. And then we have our other heroine, Lady Venom. There have been stories and things like people are scared to go into the forest and run into Lady Venom. Like, there's spooky stories going around. People know of her. She kills men. She does not like men. There are snakes in the forest. Like, it's very it's very spooky vibes. Like, it gives those atmospheric. Dude, I just said that earlier in this video. Atmospheric. I can't say it anymore. What's another word? Yeah, I don't know. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Because she ends up running into these woods, she obviously runs into Lady Venom, and Lady Venom takes her as her mistress. And there is a curse that our heroine essentially has to break, but she doesn't know about this. It has to be like a genuine thing. I mean, you know, Beauty and the Beast, right? This was just so fun. I loved Lady Venom, and she's basically this murderous woman, and I just ate it up, and so did our other heroine. And this many times were really good. Overall, just really liked the plot and the premise of this book. I don't think there was any miscommunication once our heroine falls in love with our other heroine. It was so good. Like, it really was. I definitely recommend this one. It was a spicy, spooky, fun read. The only reason I think I didn't give it a 5 stars because I did think that the ending was quite rushed, but it is also a novella, so like, you know, like it can't be like super drawn out. But yeah, that was the last book that I ended up reading in October. Let me know what your favorite book in October was. I would love to know. And if you don't want to comment any of that, then go ahead and leave me a snake emoji down below in the comments for Lady Venom. If you know, you know. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.